Hello students, welcome to Knowledge Time classes. In today's video, we are going to understand very important sum of real numbers. This is exercise 1.3 and the sum is we have to prove square root of 5 is an irrational number. What we will do, we will go for this sum by contradictory method. We will assume that let square root of 5 be a rational number. Now what is a rational number? We have studied in standard 9. Any number of the form p upon q where p and q are integers and q is not equal to 0 is a rational number, correct? So what I write let square root of 5 be a rational number. I am taking this assumption. They are asking me prove square root of 5 is an irrational number. I say okay, let square root of 5 be rational number. So by definition of rational number, what is square root of 5? It is r upon s, where your r and s are integers and s should not be equal to 0. This is the definition of a rational number. Now after cancelling, so this r and s might have or might not have some common factors. It can be 5 upon 10. So I can cancel 5. 5 I cancel 1 upon 2. So after cancelling the common factors, the final ratio what I get in the simplest form, I name it as a upon b. Now again a and b are also integers, but now a and b are not having any common factors between them. That means there should be no number which can divide both a and b. Then such number are known as co-prime numbers. When they are, in fact, the HCF of a and b will be 1. When there is no number which can divide both the numbers, then their numbers becomes co-prime numbers. So it is a upon b where a and b are integers and they are co-prime. Simple. Here till here we have only defined things. Now I square on both the sides. So what do I get? Square root of 5 the whole square is equal to a square upon b square. So 5 is equal to a square upon b square. Therefore a square is equal to 5 into b square. Now b is an integer, so b square is also an integer. This means what? A square is something into integer. That means both b square and 5 can divide a square. That is 5 can divide a square. 5 can divide a square. So if I divide a square by 5, I will again get one integer. Correct? So here my 5 can divide a square. And we have already studied one thing. If a number can divide the square of a given number, then that same number can divide the number also. So suppose 5 can divide a square, then 5 can divide a also. Okay. So what do I get from here? 5 divides a square. So 5 divides a also. Now if 5 is dividing a, that means if I do a upon 5, I should get some integer. If 5 is not dividing a, then I will get some decimals. But because it is dividing and because it is a factor, I should get integer. So let that integer what I get be c. So what do I get? A upon 5 is c. A is equal to 5c. Again now what I do? I square both the sides. So what do I get? 5c the whole square is equal to 5b square. 25c square is equal to 5b square. 25 gets cancelled. I get b square is equal to 5c square. Now here b square is 5 into something. That means 5 is dividing b square. So what does that mean? If 5 is dividing b square, then 5 is dividing b also. So 5 is dividing b also. So 5 divides both a and b. Now what we had defined, a and b are co-prime. That there cannot be any number which can divide both of them. But here we have 5 which is dividing both of them. So our assumption was wrong. So what was our main assumption? What did I say? Root 5 is a rational number, which is wrong. So what is the other option left? Root 5 is a irrational number. Okay, so we are going to follow these steps for all the sums. You will have square root of 5, prove square root of 5 is a irrational number, square root of 3 is a irrational number, square root of 7 is a irrational number, square root of 2 is a irrational number. For all the sums, the steps remain same. Okay, please note down this sum. Let us now prove square root of 2 is irrational. Again we will approach the same method. We will assume that or we will contradict that let square root of 2 be a rational number. They have told us to prove square root of 2 is irrational. What I will do, I will let square root of 2 be a rational number. Now therefore a rational number is of the form r upon s, or you can say p upon q, where P and Q are integers, we are writing over here as R upon S, where R and S are integers. We assume now after cancelling, suppose they have some common factors. So after cancelling the common factors, we get square root of 2 is equal to A upon B, where A and B are now not having any common factors. So that means they are co-prime. So square root of 2 is equal to A upon B. We square on both the sides. These standard steps will remain same, and this sum is very important. It usually comes for 3 to 4 marks in every board exam. So square root of 2 the whole square is A upon B the whole square. So 2 is equal to A square upon B square, or A square is equal to 2B square. So that means 2 can divide A square. If 2 can divide A square, we have a theorem that if 2 can divide A square, then 2 will divide A also. So 2 divides A also. If 2 is dividing A, then their answer should be an integer, and we assume let that integer be C. So A is equal to 2C. Again I square this statement 2C. I substitute A is equal to 2C in this equation. A is equal to 2C. So I get 2C the whole square is equal to 2B square. So I get 4C square is equal to 2B square. Therefore B square is equal to 2C square. So now what do I get? B square is equal to 2 into C square. 2 into integer. That means B2 can divide B square. And if 2 can divide B square, then 2 can divide B also. So what do I get? 2 is dividing A also, and 2 is dividing B also. So 2 can divide both A and B. Hence A and B are not co-prime numbers. But what we had defined earlier, that A and B are co-prime numbers, that means our assumption was wrong. So square root of 2 is a irrational number. Because we had assumed square root of 2 is a rational number and our assumption was wrong, so square root of 2 is a irrational number. Okay, please note it down. Hello students, let us now prove square root of 3 is a irrational number. So what is the first step? We assume let square root of 3 be a rational number. Now because square root of 3 is a rational number, it can be written in the form R upon S, where R and S are integers and S is not equal to 0. After cancelling the common factors from R and S, we get square root of 3 is equal to A upon B, where A upon B are integers and they are co-prime. They do not have any common factors. Now squaring on both the side, I get square root of 3 the whole square is equal to A upon B the whole square. So 3 is equal to A square upon B square, or A square is equal to 3B square. So A square is 3 into B square, that means 3 can divide A square. If 3 can divide A square, then we have a theorem that 3 can divide A also. So now if 3 is dividing A, then A upon 3 should be an integer. If it is not dividing, then you will not get an integer, you will get some decimal number, right? You will get some fraction. But because it is dividing, 5 divided by 2, you will get, 5 divided by 2, you will get 2.5. That means 2 is not dividing 5. But 10 divided by 2, you get 5. So if 2 is dividing a number, your final answer has to be an integer. So here we have found out that 3 is dividing A. So therefore A upon 3 should be an integer, and let that integer be C. So you get A is equal to 3C. This is equation 2. I substitute this A is equal to 3C in equation 1. What is equation 1? A square is equal to 3B square. So you have 3C the whole square is equal to 3B square. So 9C square is equal to 3B square. 3 cancels. So you get B square is equal to 3C square. So B square is equal to 3 into an integer. That means 3 can divide B square. If 3 can divide B square, then 3 can divide B also. Correct? So your 3 can divide B also. So what do we get? We get 3 divides both A and B. 3 divides both A and B. Therefore A and B are not co-prime. But what was our assumption? That they are co-prime. So that means our assumption was wrong. And what was our main assumption? That square root of 3 is a rational number. So that proves to be wrong. So what does square root of 3 is now? So hence now square root of 3 is a irrational number. So this method is known as contradictory method. Okay, please note down. Let us now prove square root of 7 is an irrational number. The method remains same. Let square root of 7 be a rational number. If it is a rational number, then square root of 7 is of the form r upon s, where r and s are integer and s is not equal to 0. After cancelling the common factors, we get square root of 7 is equal to a upon b. Because we have cancelled the common factors, now a and b are co-prime numbers. So square root of 7 the whole square is equal to a upon b the whole square. 7 is equal to a square upon b square, or a square is equal to 7b square. So that means what do I get? 7 divides a square. So 7 divides a also. So therefore, since 7 is dividing a divided by 7 should be a integer. So therefore, a upon 7 is equal to c, where c is a integer. You can write where c is any integer. Okay. So therefore, a is equal to 7c. Now 7c the whole square is equal to 7b square. Put a is equal to 7c in this equation, you will get this equation. A is equal to 7c, 7c the whole square is 7b square. So you get 49c square is equal to 7b square. You have b square is equal to 7c square. Therefore, because b square is 7 integer into integer, that means 7 is dividing b square. So 7 divides b square, therefore 7 divides b also. Now 7 divides a as well as 7 divides b also. That means 7 is dividing both a and b. Therefore a and b are not co-prime. So our assumption that a and b are co-prime are wrong. Hence our assumption that square root of 7 is rational is also wrong. So square root of 7 is a irrational number. Please note.